Town Council meeting September 2nd, 2025. Madam Clerk, can you start us with the prayer and pledge, please?
Thank you for bringing us together today in a spirit of generosity. May we honor one another by keeping an open mind. May we voice our truth and listen with an open heart. May we discern your will to unite in a fruitful outcome. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Biragad? Mr. Christofaro?
Here.
Mrs. O'Hara? Mr. Punchak? Ms. Alves?
Executive session, discussion by council vote or other action regarding Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation or potential litigation. 1, collective bargaining, International Brotherhood of Police Officers, Local 410. Anyone like to make a motion to go into executive session?
I will make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad?
Yes.
Mr. Christofaro?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara? Mr. Punchak?
Yes.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to reconvene in open session, indicate that no votes were taken, and request that the minutes are sealed.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. All right, I just want to explain or kind of reiterate the process. So tonight, we reviewed the contract. After we review the contract, we have to wait a week to schedule a public hearing. So I just want everyone to understand why we're not doing anything tonight. So we will schedule a public hearing for September 15th, and then we have to wait 2 weeks after that to ratify. So we will come back to talk about ratifying the contract on October 6th. So just want to let everyone know why we're not doing anything tonight. We just have to follow the procedure. Okay? We can just move on. Okay. All right. Open forum. Pursuant to 42-46-6D, maximum 3 minutes per person. Thank you. Is there anyone who wants to sign up for open forum? Good night, thank you. Jeff, you want to sign up? Anyone else that want to sign up for open forum? One more time. Yep.
I think you found one of these too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Claire O'Hara. If
My
you
name is
could
Claire
Keep it to
O'Hara.
3 minutes, please.
I'm here as a taxpayer in the town of North Smithfield for over 50 years. We've been having some problems in the Park Square, Union Square area because of a sidewalk. Some say it isn't, some say you park on it. I grew up there, walked there, and at least 70 years. I knew the sidewalk, I knew the area. It was always a sidewalk. We had the intersection of Greenville Road and Providence Street, the light was there. We waited, we crossed. Most of our friends were in North Smithfield. My grandmother's house was on that corner. So it was a place I knew well. From the first person who built the houses, mine actually was built in 26, so it's one of the first houses. It's getting to the point where I found out from the state, it is our obligation to take care of sidewalks adjacent to state highways, any highway. In our area, it hasn't been done. When I look at Slatersville and they dig a hole and take the concrete out, next day they fill the hole with concrete. Oh, we don't do that. You take everything out, then you take some nice black asphalt, and next spring maybe it'll still be there. It's not right, it's not fair. And right now we're at a turmoil, and due to what happened when we had Mr. Lowe, he came in. My house never had a tree in front. It was on my property. It was beautiful. Sidewalks were put in by WPA in 1939. So the other trees were forcing everything up. We got to get them cut. Everybody else in the neighborhood agreed. There's only one little thing. He said they're going to be dwarf trees. Second little thing, they weren't dwarf trees. Who told me? Some of the men that planted. They didn't think it was going to be fair. Now with we have the same problem. Don't have money to take those trees down. And where the trees are, it's where our pipes come in. And we've had a lot of people have problems with broken water pipes, etc. And once it's on our land, even though it came from an outside source, it's our responsibility. I think we pay the same, the same rate of taxes, and cut these trees, if you don't cut the trees down, right now, we're living with cones for safety reasons. And it was one person in particular, because he did not tell the truth. They weren't dwarf trees. And I knew that 3 weeks later, because some people thought it was dishonest. So I hope we can work together. You know, the traffic's there, Union Square Park and Park Square, just to get out. Never mind. And it's not a 2 lanes anymore, it's a 3-lane street. So I just think, you know, treating us fairly, a lot of people would be a lot happier. And I have to have, I'm going to spend money as soon as I can get someone to get rid of that tree that was planted, where my pipes and everything are, because I'm seeing everything going up in my yard, which I have never seen in the 50 years I've been there, or the 25 that Aunt Catherine was there. Thank you for your time.
May I ask a clarifying question? I know that we discussed this during the last meeting. It was actually an agenda item. Claire, have any changes been made since we discussed this last meeting?
Nothing's been done.
Nothing's been done.
No, we had some cones stolen, and some dog walkers are very aggravated that they don't have use of the sidewalk. They should see how we feel, the people who live there.
But cones were placed there in order to deter
Oh, absolutely.
walking, and because we did discuss it, it's a potential liability now that it's a known thing. So cones and were
Absolutely.
placed. Okay, excellent.
And
then
some were removed, but I took them out.
I'm glad you took them back personally.
Absolutely.
Good for you. And then my next question is, so essentially our next step would be to complete an assessment to determine budget or how we proceed.
Yeah, what we're going to do, now that we have the 3 engineering firm on call,
Okay.
we're going to reach out and have one of them at least look at the affected area and to give us a sense of the scope and price to fix the area. And then we can come back. Obviously, we don't have that money in our budget,
Right.
but at least we'll have an understanding. And like anything else that we said before, you know, our eyes and ears are always open as it relates to funding programs. There are no funding programs for this as of today, but we're also keeping lookout for those.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jeff Porter, 3 minutes, please.
Jeff Porter, 6 Country Way. I'm speaking as a planning board member this evening because, as I understand, you're going to be having the material sand and stone experts be who is the consultant? GSV? Thank you. I understand that they're going to be presenting a report to the council at your next meeting. I'm hoping that the planning board can also have that report because we still have our deliberations to provide to this council our recommendation, whether or not it's in compliance with the town's comprehensive plan. I believe that's still on our list of things to do as the planning board. So if we could have that report and potentially access to the experts so we can, I know quite a few members have quite a few questions that we have had over the couple of hearings that we've had on the planning board side of things. So I would hope that we could have access to the consultants as well so we could get some definitive answers from them. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Smithfield Town Council sitting as Board of Licensing, discussion by council vote or other action on holiday sales, victualling license, DBA Little General Store, location at 659 Great Road, expiration date of December 1st, 2026. Is there anyone here from Little General? Do you want to go to the podium, please? Hi, could you state your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Narendra Kumar Barwalia.
Joanne, is everything's in order?
So is this due to a transfer of ownership?
Yes,
So you bought the business?
yes.
My only question, and you may not be able to answer this, the hours that it was operating, are they the same hours that are being requested? So all it is just a change in ownership and pretty much business
Correct.
remains the same?
And I did put an expiration date on there of 2026, hoping that this gentleman wouldn't have to come before the council in November to renew the license. So
Okay.
if it's okay with you, I asked for this one and the next one also, if we could continue their license till next year.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions?
Just clarification, Joanne, so the documentation that was pending is no longer still pending, that's been,
Correct.
okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
If no one has any questions, anyone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the business license for MLP Enterprises LLC operating the Lil General Store at 659 Great Road in North Smithfield.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Do we
All
need to
set.
do anything about the license being until the end of, so I know you said it and I saw it in here.
December 1st, 2026.
December 1st.
Yep, 2026.
Oh, okay.
Expire in November.
Yeah,
Right.
yep. I'd like to also make a motion to grant the business license until December 1st, 2026.
That's a
For Lil
motion.
General.
Sorry, that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. All set. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Discussion by council vote or other action on mobile food establishment, DBA Aunt Tees. Is there anyone here from?
Hello.
Hi, could you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Tisha Evans.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like this is for Pumpkin Fest, September 20th.
And everything's in order, Joanne? Okay,
Everything's all set.
okay. Anyone have any questions?
What kind of food do you serve?
Charcuterie.
Nice.
Okay,
So it's a little cart, it's a little push cart.
gotcha. All right, I will make a motion to approve the business license for Tisha and Evans for Aunt T's mobile food establishment. I'm also going to include that this expiration date will be December 1st, 2026.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. All set.
The next one? For next year? Yep, I'll come back.
You're already set, you already.
Oh, I'm all set for next year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Have a good day. All right. Old business, if we can just skip down to Municipal Review Task Force, because we have Inga here from ECC for a brief where'd she go?
She just stepped out for a second.
All right. I guess we'll wait.
Here she comes, I think.
Is she coming?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay. Good evening. For those who don't remember, I haven't been here a few meetings. My name is Inga Knox. I'm with ECC Corporation. I'm the one of the owners, project management members, and a project executive for ECC. I'm here to fill in for Brian Frigon and provide an update on the police station renovation project. All right, so not a lot has changed since the last update, but we will continuously come in on the first meeting of every month. We are still, so the construction document set is complete, and we do have a peer review, which is basically a third-party review from our team, a consultants that review the drawings, which we have shared with the architect, and they are looking at the comments, mostly for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, in terms of the construction management manager at risk procurement process, The proposals are due this week on Thursday. Once we receive the proposals, we will open them and everything will be reviewed and discussed. And we are hoping to be able to come to this meeting first meeting of October with recommendation to award. So in terms of the dates, interviews are set for 9/23, and the target to complete the review process is at the end of September. Any questions on the process?
I do. And maybe I misheard the last meeting that we had when Brian provided an update, but it was my understanding that bids were due the Friday of the week of our last town council meeting. Was that not correct?
Which is, so the dates have shifted a little bit.
Since we last met?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So they shifted 2 weeks?
There was a 2-week shift.
Yes.
Okay, and that was in addition to the 2-week shift prior? Because didn't we shift the deadline
That was
because we wanted to
because of
open it up
the-
to more firms?
The first shift was because of the issuance of documentation in the paper, correct? And that's why
Okay,
the deadline or whatever was missed. So this one was based on interest of some of the contractors. Initially, what was being asked of them, they were a little reluctant to provide. So in order to get their interest back in the project, we kind of changed the scope, and by changing the scope, they were given additional time in order to be able to respond to the RFP.
Not so much even the scope, but more clarifications. There were some follow-up questions, and we collectively thought it would be beneficial to answer those questions and modify some of the content so that we could open it up to a slightly broader audience and not limit to 2 firms submitting.
and do we think that this is the last time that we need to
Yes.
shift? Okay.
Well, right, because we're in this week, so the proposals are due in 2 days, and there is no more time to shift.
And do we know if
anything.
we have any additional interested firms? I know that we had 10, and then that turned into 8, and then that turned into 4, and then we were going to extend the deadline because we wanted to pursue potential, or provide other firms the opportunity. Do we have more firms in addition to the 4 that?
I don't have the answer to who will be deciding to submit at the end of the day. The firms remain the firms who have the documents and who express the interest. So we will know on Thursday once we receive proposals. And once we receive proposals, we can certainly report back to the entire council as well on who has submitted.
Okay,
So I don't have a definitive answer to that.
okay.
So at the moment, the schedule remains unchanged in terms of award by the first meeting of October. It will follow by a few-week contract period, and the selected CM will take the documents that we have and start buying out the job, meaning that they will have to basically bid it to the subcontractors, and by the end of this year, the job should be bought out in full, with construction potentially starting early next year. And that will also depend. So we have asked construction managers to evaluate our timeline that we have sort of suggested that we followed, but they know better. They are the ultimate company that will be building the project. So even though we have a not to exceed amount, I think we have like 12 months for construction, we asked them to look at the whole process, at the phasing plan, and that's part of the evaluation process, is a better schedule and a phasing plan as well. So that will be part of what they're proposing and suggesting in the submissions.
Mm-hmm. And then last time we met and spoke about the police station project, I think we had collectively been interested in more of an overview of the grants and funds used to date. And then I had asked for an overview in preparation of this meeting. I don't know if that will be provided when we discuss grants, but I would like a comprehensive overview that essentially says, you know, what funds have been used to date, what do we still have, are there any expiration dates, do we need to, are there extension dates? Because as the timeline shifts potentially further and further out, will the grant lifetime, I guess, be impacted?
The only expiration date that we're watching is regarding the grant for energy, which is, I think, $124,000. That originally had a expiration date of September of this year. I reached out to them and said, we need more time. They gave us until May, end of May next year. The question is, what are they going to need as it relates to documentation to pay the fund, or to pull the funds down? We do not have to expend the money. So once the CM is selected, then ECC and the CM will work together to document exactly what we need to provide the state in order to meet that end of May deadline. The reason why that deadline exists is these are ARPA monies. And although ARPA monies go through September of 2026, the delays in getting all the paperwork processed through the feds is long, so that's why they want it by the end of May. That's the only deadline as it relates to the police department grants that we're up against the wall on.
I think with this project and then with Hallowell being our two major projects in town, I would appreciate, whether it's monthly or whether it's at every meeting when we do a grant update, to understand, to have that comprehensive overview in relation to each of these projects.
On the grant profile that I give the council, I've amended the profile. You don't have it in your package here because I gave it last week. It is going to have the expiration date of the grants on that sheet. None of the
spent to date, what's
none of the grants regarding Hallowell we have to worry about. Those are way out, 1931 or 2031. So we're fine. But we have the dates on the form that you're going to hand out in the future.
okay.
And we can also work together to add something to this update as
That
well.
would be
For the
helpful,
grants
yeah.
that are pertaining to the project.
Yes, that would be helpful.
So we
Thank you.
can, I'm tracking the schedule. We'll have a more, I think, definite conversation on schedule once the CM is on. At least we know, recommended, not on board, but recommended. And also we can add a grant discussion.
Yeah, just an overview would be helpful, thank you. I
Absolutely.
think not just for us as town councilors, but I also think for
Yeah, for
residents to be
everyone,
able to see that.
Any other questions?
I have one last question. I'm sorry that I'm monopolizing all the questions. I did see that it said construction starts in fall of 2025, but I thought when we last met, we had mentioned that construction was scheduled to start in Q1 of 2026. So did that shift?
So, when the CM, the reason why we went with construction management at risk rather than a GC, right? The biggest difference is that once the company is on board, we'll work with them, and some things may be able to start as
Okay.
soon as even late fall or early, I would say early winter at this point, like say between November and December. It is hard to say. It is likely that we will buy the job and then start the construction early winter of 26. However, I would resort that answer to our next meeting and the next update here, because we will have a little bit of a better idea in terms of what phases we can start. For example, I have a project now where we have 7 phases, and we actually did a first small phase right away to kind of get some things out of the way, and then we're doing another phase later. So while we're buying some things, we're able to do some things at the same time. That is the benefit of construction management.
Okay.
And we will work with that company to identify those nuances, because it's hard for us to determine that without them being on board.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Inga.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm late to my own presentation.
We moved you up, so.
Let's see.
just want to see if there's anyone else waiting to speak before we start moving. Hallowell Multi-Generational Building Committee, Mr. Porter and Ms. Tebow.
So, oh, thank you.
What'd you say?
She's gonna hold his hand.
Perfect, I appreciate that. Feel the love. Perfect. I do. I feel much better. In your packets, we had distributed to you folks basically an executive summary from the architect about our design development package. The project cost now has come back at $7.2 million, which has been a $1.2 million increase over the past 1.5 years from the initial master plan study done back in December of 2023. We wanted to provide this information to you folks so you could digest it, review it, and what our goal is to have a joint meeting with the council on September 18th, where we would also have BH+A present to answer any and all questions in relation to the cost estimate. The committee did have some recommendations on adding, subtracting a few different things. One of the things that we did ask to become an ad alternate was the work done for a basketball court. So we've asked them to revise their cost estimate. So we will be getting everybody a lovely 30-page document that basically gives you where all the dollars are going for the project prior to the September 18th meeting. We do have, they did provide a list of potential scope revisions, things like removing the CMU veneer wall base, removing multi-purpose room operable partition, kitchen roll-up doors, a non-commercial kitchen, removing a shower in the family restroom, AV system reduction, sound system reduction, and a couple other things here and there to really strip this down to bare bones. And that gets us savings at about $347,000. The one thing I do want to underscore, and I said this at the meeting, our last meeting, please don't compare this to the Woonsocket Community Center. They are apples and oranges. They have an entire complex being built over there at Cass Park. They have no site work being done for their building right now. That is part of a separate project. So their costs and their budgets are very different from what we're looking at. We have a lot more site work. We have about a quarter mile of paving that we have to take care of. We have parking to take care of. They don't have any of that. So I just want to underscore that for the council to understand. I've looked at the document, the Woonsocket Community Center documents. They have 4 walls of a prefab building going up. We have something that's a little bit more fitting of our town. The vernacular of the architecture in town is much more, there's a lot more thought put into it than just 4 walls being put up. That's my only color commentary on that, and we'll leave it at that. So again, I'm hoping that we can convene a joint meeting on September 18th. It's a Thursday. I know you folks have a busy week that week with your September 15th meeting, and I understand your agenda is pretty packed, but this one should be a fairly easy lift. And at that time, we would also be looking forward to the council's approval for BH+A to move into construction documents. They are now at a standstill with design development. They've provided all that they needed to provide with the exception of the revised cost estimate, which we'll get over to you. And they also have the design development documents, which we can also share with you as well. So that's our update for the time being. If there's any questions for either of us, we'd be certainly happy to answer what we can.
Down here you say remove 2 small program rooms. So by removing two small program rooms, what does the square footage go down to?
I don't have that number offhand.
Wouldn't you need that number? Wouldn't you need that amount to get a number?
I don't have that number offhand right in front of me to know what that square footage is. I could get you that number, but I don't have it readily available.
That's the small rooms.
Yeah, those
Small
small.
program.
It's gonna be about 600 square feet, maybe 800? Are they
Maybe.
20 by 20?
If you,
I don't remember.
if you want to pause, I can look at I brought the drawings with me and I can tell you.
Yeah, it's gotta be between 6 and 800, that's all I can imagine, if they're 20 by 20 tops. I don't think they're much bigger than that.
And to confirm, we currently have $4 million in grant for the actual construction of the brick and mortar and $1 million for recreational. I know that we're working on other grants, correct?
Yes, we have 4 million, and then a portion of the 1 million could be used to offset some of the Phase 1 cost outside of the building. I'm currently working with our grants writer to get a better handle on that, and yes, we are looking at several other grant opportunities.
Do any of the other grant opportunities look promising at this point?
Nothing in this life looks promising anymore.
Agreed.
We have a $1.5 million ask from Senator Reed's office that's in his ask to Congress. When anybody can make sense out of what's going on in Washington, let me in, because I'd like to know. We don't know what, we're going to probably know more about that in late September or through early October, but won't know definitively about that until January, when the votes are taken. But there are two other grant programs that are surfacing that we're looking at, that we're talking to our grants writer with.
Okay.
The space to remove those two small rooms is 782 square feet.
Total.
Yep.
May I ask a question? So I thought that, I think Hallowell is the perfect place for a senior center. It's the perfect location. It's got everything we need. It's got walking trails and everything, but I didn't vote for it to be moved there. And this is exactly why, because of the money. And that's the only, I hated the idea of putting it at Pacheco. I hated the idea of putting it at Scouters, but dollar, it just made sense. Dollar, you know what I mean? We could have done it, just let me finish.
Yep.
We could have done it at Pacheco within our $4 million budget. I don't know where how we're gonna do this. We don't have the money for it. We're gonna have to dip into our reserves. I don't mind dipping in. Of course, you gotta dip in a little bit, but now even with those things that you took out, you're still looking at 6.9.
Yep.
And a smaller building.
So it's funny that you mentioned Scouters, because I was just looking at the report that BH plus A had done. And construction costs since that report was done has increased about 5%. So at 5% for the desired building that we would see at Scouters Hall would be $6.5 million. So, I'm just saying, we waited a year and a half to get this done.
I know.
And that really killed us on this.
But I think, what wasn't said here, that we talked about other recommendations that we could eliminate. And I think for the next meeting, we'll have we didn't take any official votes on it, but I do believe that there are some of the recommendations that we can make that will bring that cost down more and maybe make it okay to have it there. And, and fingers crossed, we'll get the 1.5 from Jack Reed's office.
So,
Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm going to sound like a real bad guy right now to some people, but I'm going to say this anyway. If they can't get the price down, at some point, we might have to cut our losses and build something for $4 million at Pacheco. If it can't, I know we're into this, we're getting into this, but at some point, we can't keep throwing good money after bad. These prices are just going to keep going up, and where are we going to get the money?
So if we pivot again,
Right.
that's going to be another year of documentation. So that $4 million that we have is now going to be even less. You're going to be able to make the building upgrades to Scouters, not make it code compliant, but only do the base, bare bones minimum at Scouters at that point, because you're at $3 million right now to bring Scouters and maintain the building. Not bring it up to code, not do any of the things that need to get done to the building, but you're at $3 million there. So you're gonna lose a year, you're gonna increase more costs for 5%. So we continually kick this can down the road. You know, I've been at this for almost 4.5 years, and we continually kick this down the road. And I think at this point, the council needs to say, we're gonna move forward, or we're gonna stop. It's a hard decision. I don't like to put that out there.
Well, but
But
the thing is, if we
this is
keep
at the-
cutting things, what are we gonna have for a building? We're gonna have this cheesy
You're
building
gonna have a
down there.
room like this size and 2 bathrooms.
Right, that's right.
So what's the point?
Right.
Well, maybe if we didn't keep pivoting and we would have just left the vote at Scouters, who would say that the building wouldn't already be done by now?
Who wouldn't have said that the building down at Hallowell couldn't already been done by now?
Well, because it was too many times going back and forth and ping pong in between the different locations when we had already decided on one place, and then there was movement to go to another place and then go back to the other place. We would probably be almost ready to say we have a multi-generational facility opening at Pacheco Park.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
So-
we would have came in, wait a minute, excuse me, we would have come in where they originally had told us we'd come in. And if we had to do site work to the entrance, I'm sure we could have put that in capital. And I think by probably the end of the year, we probably would be opening the doors to this new facility without taking any money out of reserves, because we still have the police station that we have to work on.
So then that decision rests solely on your shoulders,
Well,
not ours.
Well,
It
already did, and then we got kind of pushed to go the other way.
You folks gave us the direction, you formed the new committee, you had the vote of where to have all these things, and we're here now. All right?
right, but it keeps changing. It keeps
Not
changing. It
because of,
started at
not
4.
because of us.
Well,
Not because of
yeah,
us.
It does, because we
You
originally
folks are the ones that are making the decisions.
If we're not gonna be able to have a conversation and listen to each other.
May I?
Originally, we were supposed to have a 4,000 square foot building, then it went up to 6,600. Now it's 66, well, now it's not even 66, it's
Okay.
less than that. And it's over $2 million, over $3 million what we had planned on.
May I make a suggestion, Madam President? You know, the committee has looked at a lot of these things. There are things that many of us had said, we could eliminate this, we could eliminate that, and still end up with a pretty dang good building at Hallowell, because that's what everybody decided to do. Would it be possible, or would it be feasible, is not a good idea, for another set of eyes, look at this cost, like maybe the admin team, and see if they see anything that our eyes have been missing, because we know what we want, and it's going to be beautiful. People don't believe me, oh, by the way. But, you know, another set of eyes looking at it, not just our own committee, and see if we can, what we can do to eliminate some of the costs, but still have a building that we can call, that we could be proud of down at Hallowell.
You know, it's funny you say that.
Just a thought, just a
Because
thought.
that's exactly what I was gonna ask the administrator tonight. If you and your team have the bandwidth to maybe review this whole, where we are in this planning stage, like what maybe can be removed, and kind of get us back to where we were in the beginning, and then come back to us and see where we can cut, where we can still have a good building, and then decide if we're gonna move forward, or even with the committee. I don't know. I think we're at a point right now that we really need to make some serious decisions.
We attended the last Hollowell meeting, and I do acknowledge that the committee has worked really, really hard on this. But I spoke to my planning director, and we both agreed that we are prepared to use what is decades of experience in construction to take a hard look at this project and the capital sources and see how things could possibly be moved around to reduce costs and to make this project viable. Because we're all extremely passionate about making this project happen at Hollowell. It's good for the town, but we knew, in spite of the hard work that's put in, we knew that the $7 million was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
And so something has to be done. So we're prepared to work for the next 2 weeks and come back to the council. And we'll communicate with the committee to come back with you with our ideas, if there are any more. And I want to, make sure you're clear about that. I'm not promising anything,
No.
but we'll really make it a priority to come back to you with what we see from our eyes. It's how to make this project happen.
Yeah, so that would be really helpful, and then in 2 weeks, we can decide how we're gonna move forward, in what direction.
Does 2 weeks put us at the joint meeting?
Huh?
Does it make
Well, I
sense?
don't even think we should have a joint meeting right now until we have you look at it, and until your team can look at it, and then maybe we can have a joint meeting and discuss the different views.
I think that would make some sense, because if we're coming back with some definitive recommendations, we're also going to want to have a conversation, with, Linda and Jeff on this in terms of what we're thinking. So I think maybe the 18th is a little bit too aggressive
Yeah,
in order for us to do an effective job.
right. Okay. So we'll get an update at the next meeting on when we can sit down and
Yep.
have a joint meeting, you think, or is that too soon?
No, we'll start first thing in the morning.
All right, and this isn't gonna put your team too thin, or? Sorry, but,
No, I mean, it's a priority.
yeah, it
This
definitely
is an important
'cause
project,
I-
so we want
this
to make it
price
happen.
tag-
Do you have the design development documents?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. But I would like to see, Jeff, any additional things that the architects worked on as it relates to additional changes.
Sure.
That would be helpful, too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we'll wait to hear back from you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm just trying to get everyone, and then we'll go back. Discussion by council vote or other action on abatements/supplementals. Ms. St. George?
Hi.
Hi.
So I have both supplementals, one supplemental and a few abatements. First, I have abatements in the amount of $19,440.88. $13,559.83 is the settlement with the Dudley Development case.
So that's the majority of it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All that while. Sat there.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on abatements? Anyone want to make a motion to accept the abatements in the amount of $19,440.88?
Motion to accept?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. And the supplementals?
Then I have supplementals in the amount of $94.58.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on the supplemental? Anyone want to make a motion to accept?
I will make a motion to accept supplementals in the amount of $94.58.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jen?
Did someone say my name?
No, I said thank you, Jen.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Discussion by council vote or other action on Department of Public Works award of bid for crack sealing town roads. Mr. Pendergast?
Good evening. We should have in your packet a proposal from Seal Coating DBA Indus for crack sealing in the town. We are piggybacking on the town of Westerly's bid, and that paperwork should also be in your packet. We're going to be taking $100,000 out of the operational budget of the Highway Division for road repairs.
Ray, what does it mean when you say piggyback on the town of Westerly's bid?
So Westerly went out to bid, competitive bidding. So they grant any city and town or any municipality to use their bid.
Okay,
Saves us from going out to bid.
and having bid, okay. Thank you.
Anyone have any other questions?
Yes, I'd like to bring this forward. I hope you can help me. The 146A from Park Square to where the beef barn was, let's put it that way, was always no, after last year's team, it was decided it would be no parking all the way down. You put parking signs all the way down.
I did not.
The state said they didn't either.
I'm sorry, Claire.
I did
this-
not.
Wait a minute.
Well, I'd like something going, because all of a sudden, they're there, they're not there, they're giving different names.
All right, Claire,
The signs are
Claire.
out, and it didn't go on the thing again.
Claire, point of order, we're talking about crack sealing bid.
Well, this is a little more dangerous.
Does anyone have any other questions about the crack sealing bid?
So the exhibit that's in here is the town of Westerly's, because obviously they're not starting July 8th. Right?
Say that again?
They're not starting July 8th.
They went out to bid this, I think in May or June, went out to bid.
Right, so I'm reading the scope of work and the performance period schedule, so the dates in this document here are the Westerly dates.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If we approve this, you're gonna,
We're actually ready to go. We want to get this done before the winter.
And how much is in this line item?
The line item is 900,000. I think you took 100,000 out.
Okay, thank you.
Cheaper than paving.
All right,
This is
any other
pavement
questions?
preservation.
Huh?
This is saving the roads that we paved.
Right.
All right, any other questions on this? Anyone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the award of the seal coating contract to Seal Coating, Inc., doing business as Indus.
That's a motion, is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punjak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, discussion by council vote or other action on payment of bills. Anyone have any questions regarding the packet?
I had one. So James R. Collins Esquire, there is a 224060 for half of a cost for an invoice number in 2024, 2025. And then there is also a half of a cost for a different amount in 2025, 2026, and it's the same invoice number. So why would that be? Why is one 224060 and one of them's 334060?
The invoice number that was provided could be just typed in wrong, but I know for sure that there's two different invoices that were provided to me. These are for ongoing litigations that we have. One is for prior year and just when the services were provided. It might have been just forgot to change the number or a typo.
That's all I had.
All right, anyone else have any other questions? Anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve the payment of bills for fiscal year 2024, 2025 in the amount of $10,581.95.
Second.
That's a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
I would also like to make a motion to approve the payment of bills for the fiscal year 2025, 2026 in the amount of $675,305.64.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Discussion by council vote or other action on status/update only. First one is Charter Review Committee. Mr. Christopherow.
Thank you. Yes, this is an update only, actually on both charter review and groundwater protection. I really would like to regularly use at least one town council meeting a month to provide an update on the work that at least the committees that I'm on are doing. So as the town council liaison, I think our boards and committees do a lot of great work. And I really do think that we should be able to really provide them with a platform to better showcase their work, and not only showcase their work, but also to be able to come to the town council if they have any questions or need any additional support. But anyway, for Charter Review Committee, we had some really productive dialogue. We went through Articles 6 through 10. Some of the discussion was semantics, but then some of the discussion was a little bit more technical in relation to especially budget. Given that we're so familiar with the budget process that we just went through. So we did have a lot of dialogue around just potential areas of opportunity to reword or make some changes to some of the budget language in the charter. I don't have necessarily anything set in stone. Those minutes haven't been approved yet. But I will say that we had some really productive dialogue the other evening, and our town administrator also attended as well. So, TA, anything else to add there? Yeah, it was a very good conversation.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
You cover the groundwater as well? Is that what you just?
I will cover it next.
Okay, I'll wait. Go ahead.
That's all.
And how many meetings have you had? Just
3. I think we've had 3 so far to date. And then every meeting will go through another chunk of the charter, another chunk of a charter in order to remain on target for the deadline that we approved, I think, a few town council meetings ago. But we are having very efficient and productive dialogue when we meet. So I will provide another update the end of September, since our next town council meeting is towards the end, or rather charter review meeting is towards the end of the month.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Good.
From a groundwater protection committee perspective, I think I would like to make mention a few things. The groundwater protection committee has really taken a proactive approach on providing access to the public, as well as leveraging the public, and when I say public, I mean our residents, to really understand where they feel as a groundwater protection committee, our priorities and our goals, not just as a committee, but as our community, where they really feel as though we can be better focusing our efforts. So over the course of June and July, Cynthia Roberts, as well as Beth Newberry, did an excellent job of leveraging the Valley Breeze to post notices that we were going to host public workshops. So our residents could attend and provide us an understanding of some of their questions, their concerns, and where they really felt as though the Groundwater Protection Committee could really best understand what their needs are, since, based on our ordinance, a few of our tasks are to educate, provide people with access to information. So the committee has done an excellent job of engaging the public and then taking all of that information and further synthesizing it. So right now we're working on establishing what our guiding principles are, obviously in addition to what our resolution, what our ordinance is, but establishing what our guiding principles are, what are some of our priorities that are not just informed by the committee, but by the public as well. And then what are going to be our goals over the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years how are we showcasing that work to our town council? How are we working with the administration? But also to how are we working with other boards and committees? So we should be close towards the end of, I would say, October to having those finalized, and then we would return to the town council for your opinion on, you know, what are our goals, what are our priorities for the Groundwater Protection Committee. I would also like to make mention, and I'm sure some of you have seen that in the Valley Breeze, we also had another resignation from the committee. And, you know, obviously we appreciate all of our volunteers' work. I think that there's definitely opportunity really across all boards and committees to better understand the scope of our boards and committees so we can manage the expectations of our volunteers, manage the expectations of the public, as well as managing the expectations of our town council. So I really think that collectively we can do that together, right? Like really determine what is going to be our format, what is going to be our platform, how are we going to collectively manage the expectations of our volunteers as well as elected and appointed officials, so we can ensure that people do really truly feel as though their work is valued. So that's all I have to say for that. John?
Yes, so that's what I was gonna ask about, is the two resignations that were in the newspaper. What issues were brought before the council from the groundwater committee that we didn't address, or the town administrator? You guys never came before here asking for something or advising us of something, and we turned them away. So why the parting shots as they're resigning from the committee? Why can't they just resign and move on instead of taking a cheap shot at the town council and the town administrator when they never came before the town council for us to even reject or disapprove of anything?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. It was a little bit before my time, I think, because I'm relatively new to the Groundwater Protection Committee.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be transparent, there was not a lot of conversation about, aside from just receiving that resignation from both of those volunteers. But I do think that that's, you know, a fair question. I can't really provide any clarity because I don't necessarily have it. Yeah, that's really all I have.
I think
John.
that it's more of a lack of understanding of what the process is than the fact that we're not doing anything, we're not listening to them, because they never came before the town council, they never went before the administrator and voiced their concerns or voiced their ideas or make any suggestions that we should make, and were turned away. That never happened. But yet,
and
you know, here we are on the front page of the Valley Breeze because they're unhappy and they resigned.
I think that there is opportunity for, you know, volunteers, prospective volunteers, to understand the scope and the expectations of our boards and committees. With that understanding, you know, you may want to join, you may not want to join based upon, you know, that understanding. I also think the town council needs to provide more of a platform for, and not that we obviously have our town council meetings, right? But how can we better collaborate with our boards and committees to really allow them to feel comfortable that they can just jump on the agenda if they do have something that they want to cover with us, and really just ensuring that we have open lines of communication. I've been thinking through this a lot, especially given the resignations on the Groundwater Protection Committee. It is something that I would like to think through, and then at a later date, maybe come back to the town council and say, you know, does this sort of format, does this sort of cadence make sense? So we can really ensure that our boards and committees feel like they have a platform to come to the town council.
Well, we don't put town council members on a lot of committees, but we put a town council member on this committee. So there's no reason why they should feel disenfranchised, and because they can just go to you. And then you could come to us, and we could put them on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, but like I said, nothing was mentioned to me, like prior to their resignations, but I think that is a valid point. So moving forward, I'll be sure to engage with both of the committees that I'm on and ensure if they do have any issues, if they feel as though I could be doing a better job to come to the town council meeting and express whether it's concerns or needs.
I think there's also another aspect of this that we have to be clear on, and that is, and I'm not saying this didn't happen in this case, but it's important that any members of a board or commission have to understand what the charter responsibilities are of that board and commission.
Right.
Sometimes someone may get involved on a board and want to do other things, but yet that's not what the charter says it's for. The Groundwater Protection Commission's job is to educate.
Right.
And that's it, is to educate. And I talked when those comments came out, and it kind of took me off guard too. I went to talk to my town planner, and he said, I have no idea what this is all about. He said, the bottom line is, we have, I think it's 12 or 13 elements that are part of our zoning ordinance that are related to groundwater protection. And those, any applicant that comes in has to check each one of those boxes through their engineer, that they reviewed and they conform to all those requirements. So he said, we do what we're supposed to do. So he was a little bit surprised as well. So in the future, I hope that, yeah. And one of the people who resigned actually came up to me later and said, I hope you're not offended. And I said, not really. I mean, I hear a lot of things out there that don't offend me. But I think we just need to really communicate and be very clear what your role is and to make sure that they're valued. And I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And I think we also have to remember that we meet on a monthly basis. A lot of these boards and committees meet on a monthly basis. There's almost only so much work that you could get done within that time each month, and things work relatively slow. And I do think that the Groundwater Protection Committee is doing an excellent job of understanding really what our residents want us to focus on, so we can ensure that with the task of educating, how are we actually outlining very tangible goals so we can deliver to those goals, right? There's one thing to have a resolution or have essentially what your charter tasks you with, and it's another thing to actually deliver to it. So I think the Groundwater Protection Committee wants to do that, but it is a relatively slow process.
Yeah, I know before we were talking about, you know, what's expected of boards and committee members. And, you know, it's probably really important that each committee, like their first meeting, is they actually read their resolution and what their purpose is, right? Like, you know, what is it that we're really going to do? And if that's not what you thought it was,
right,
then that's the time to like, maybe this isn't what I really thought it was, you know? And
Definitely.
it's just really unfortunate that if people are quitting and just making this vague statement that they're not listened to, or they're, you know, it's just a waste of time because, you know, nothing happens. But, you know, it just kind of gives the town and the committees just, you know, a black eye,
Yeah.
because now no one wants to join, but there may be someone out there that really would be interested, but now they're kind of like, well, I don't know, it's probably a waste of time, you know? But for someone just to make a blanket statement like that is just really, unfair.
I gotta say, President and the administrator being very, very nice about it, I think it was a cheap shot on the way out the door, and it was unnecessary.
And I would also like to make mention that one of the folks that did resign, you know, previously had mentioned a few weeks prior to the resignation, that they were very pleased to see the community engagement and commended the committee on the work that we've been doing and how we've been engaging with the community. So that is why I was also very surprised to see that resignation, because that was a little bit different than what was previously stated. But I do think, you know, Kim, to your point, and I don't want to belabor this, but I think that it's an excellent opportunity to just really highlight where some of our opportunities exist with boards and committees. That, one, if people are interested in a board or committee, how can they access the boards and committees to better understand if it is something they'd like to pursue?
Right.
Two, once somebody does join a board or committee, what does onboarding look like, right? Like, here's the resolution, this is the scope, right? This is the case, these are open meetings, like this is how it all works. So then you know what your expectations are. And we can better set you up for success. And I would like to work through some of that.
Yeah.
And then come back to the town council at a later date to, you know, provide a proposal
Yeah.
and talk a little bit about it.
Councilwoman, I do also want to point, because I did make a representation to you, a couple council meetings when the first resignation was, I would reach out to find out what was going on. I did, but you did not return my message. But I did reach out to her because I was interested to see what that was all about.
Thank you.
See, that's why it's just difficult, because when you make a statement like that and people are trying to get in touch with you or get some information on it, and you're just, you know, it's
And the fact that it was
unfortunate.
newsworthy, too, it was just a little silly.
But if you need any help, I mean, maybe we can kind of get together and hit all the boards and committees
would
and
love
just
that.
review their resolutions and see if it was, make sure everyone who's on it is, actually knows what the resolution is and that's what they wanted to
Yeah.
do, you know? Yeah, let me know and we could work on that.
Yeah, I'd love
maybe.
that. Thank you,
Okay.
Kim.
Yeah, absolutely. North Smithfield Senior Service, I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't realize you were on this one. I said I was trying to get everyone out, but I didn't realize you were on this one. She's not listening. All right, North Smithfield Senior Services.
Oh,
I said I didn't realize you were on this one because I tried to get everyone out and then start doing our business, but I didn't realize that's why you're still sitting here. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, as I mentioned in the last meeting, there was an additional grant provided to the program through Healthy Aging, $20,700. We've come up with a combined budget now, which has us with about a $9,800 surplus, but we're actually going to be expending the state monies first. So we're drawing those funds down as quick as possible so we don't end up beating our heads up against the wall at the end of the year. Other than that, your programs are up and running. You want to give a little update on those?
Oh, yeah, they are, okay.
Go for it.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my grandson's wedding pictures, I'm sorry. I'm a Grammy first.
And you should.
Linda Tebow, 83 St. Paul Street. You know, I have schedules if I have one for each of you if you want. But yes, programs are up and running. We officially took over in July because, you know, Aging Well was paying them until the end of June, all the instructors. We've had a very brisk attendance with our programs. Scott and I were talking the other day, and they say, well, you know, there's the naysayers, nobody goes. Thursday, and John, you'll remember Zumba. So I try to go to the classes so the people know me, and I can see how they're going and encourage and blah, blah. So on Thursday, I was at the Zumba class, and we had like 15 people, 16 people. And then the next class came in, and that was going to be a weight training class. And they had maybe 20 people. And then one of the seniors had asked if she could talk to me privately, so I was talking to her. And you know, we have these chairs that we bought, and there were 27 chairs over there. And so the next class coming in, which was like, I think it was a keep moving class, all of a sudden they're coming in and taking chairs and bringing them in. And all of a sudden, the gal I was talking to and I was standing up, they had 27 people in there. So they used all our chairs, but we've been having some really good stuff happening. We've got a great day Saturday coming up. I talked with a couple of you about it. September is Senior Center Month. We had an event last year when I was with Aging Well. I started that, and it was so well received. So they said, can we do it again? So Bobby and I worked, and anyways, we're going to do it again Saturday, and you're all invited if you want to come. We have seniors coming from all over the place. The last count, we had 162 people registered, and we're taking others at the door. There will be Zumba. There will be chair Zumba. There will be cornhole. There will be chair volleyball. There will be all kinds of music. And one thing, and it's a secret, so don't tell anybody.
Oh, me?
We are going to do exercise bingo. Not been done before, but you know how they say seniors like bingo, but they're going to work at this one. And I spared no expense for prizes. There was an 80% off sale at Walgreens, and I cleared off their shelves. Bubbles. They're going to get bubbles. And it's a $5 donation, and they get a choice of 3 sandwiches off the beef. Remember, John, you were there. The Beef Barn food truck. They get fries, a large beverage, and ice cream. And oh, yes, and by the way, I invited the director of OHA.
Oh.
Yeah. Ha, ha, ha. Maria Samini. Yeah, I thought that was a good idea. You like that, Claire? Yeah. Well, you know, they did a thing, and Bobby had sent it to me, so I told them what we were going to do, and they were, like, impressed. And so I said, well, why don't you come and be my guest? So I don't know for sure if she's coming, but I did invite the mayor of Woonsocket, our town administrator, We'll have the press there, but I think it's going to be a good day, and I hope it doesn't rain. But yeah, we have those 2 new classes, the bar fitness and the cheer Zumba, are going over extremely well. So we have something going on pretty much every day. Wednesday's Education Day. So we have Chef Kevin coming on the 17th. He's really good. And great things coming up. We're already working on the Veterans Appreciation Dinner. So that's all. Anyways.
I'd like to also throw into this too. We, in working with the Office of Healthy Aging, we got them to agree to allow us to use a small portion of their grant to prepare articles of incorporation, bylaws, and tax-exempt application for 501c3 for a new entity.
Yeah.
So the
And
state,
I should thank you for that, Scott.
state's going to pay for that. So I'm meeting with a lawyer actually Thursday who's interested in helping us.
That'll be really good.
So-
So it's going well. It's going really well.
So Linda, if
Do you want
someone,
a schedule? I'll give you all one if
Yeah.
you want, so you can really see what's going on.
so wait a minute, wait. So if somebody wants to go attend meetings or whatever, classes, what do they have to do?
Just come. They just come. You know, and we've talked about this already, but like right now, we have no money to put anything. I have petty cash, you know, that I use for petty cash. But you know, I don't have an account. Claire's laughing at me. But you know, once we get our 501c, we'll have membership fees, and so they'll fill out, you know, I get their contact information, like if we have to cancel, and I like an emergency contact in case, you know. But basically, they show up, they sign in, because we're not using the My Senior Center yet. It's going to be delivered. It's going to give us really good stats, so we'll know exact numbers. I've got numbers, but, you know, it's on paper. But as soon as I find a place where we can lock it up and secure it over there at Scouters, I can start using that. But they just come, and the word of mouth, I mean, it's really something. And you'd be surprised. So I was on radio today. Let me tell you this one, because I do Coffee Ann every Tuesday. And so, you know, you can call in and ask a question. And so a question was for me, Linda Tebow. And the question was, so what's going on at Aging Well? And I went, oh, well, I'm not there anymore. I'm with North Smithfield Senior Services. So, but anyways, so we're busy. We try to get out to all the senior housing, all of our flyers, all of our information. I'm targeting, you know, the Colonial and Deerfield, Gatewood Meadows. So we're going to have a lot of those people Saturday. Bridgettos puts up flyers for me, the library does. So, you know, right now, and it goes on the newsletter too, the North Smithfield newsletter. So that's all. Anything else?
So anyone can go right now and just join a class, just drop in whenever they want?
Just drop in and come and see me. Yep, come and see me, and I'll sign you in. And eventually, you know, they'll become members. And we can have one cost for North Smithfield, and most of them do it like $5 more for an out-of-towners. Okay. But we have them coming from all over. Burrville is loving us. They're coming down. We can hit them up for money next year.
Great. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you, Linda. And I just want to...
right there. Gentlemen, this woman started off in figure skating. Am I right? We went to Mountain, then we ended up in Burrville,
Yeah.
practices, and,
Yeah.
and the programs were unbelievable. And they had very creative ideas, so I've offended, so we need a few skirts, like 48. And she just go along with it. I never saw her lose it, and let me tell you, some of them, there was no hope, but they had a lot of fun. And they enjoyed themselves. You always have given 120%.
Yeah.
You have smiled when I would have attacked, but you're not me. You've done
Thank you,
so
Claire.
much, and Woonsocket's loss is our game. And I'll
Thank
tell
you.
anyone.
Well, I'm glad to be back here. I'm glad to be only here. It's fun. It's fun. So let me give you a schedule so you'll know.
Thank you, Linda.
In case you want to come to a class. John did. Yeah.
And I do, Linda, just want to make mention that I did request this item on the agenda because I did want to hear about, you know, the work that you've been doing there. And I think, not to compare this to a board or committee, but the sort of update that we received tonight is really, really an excellent understanding of what you guys are doing, so thank you so much.
And you know, as I said, once we get that, my seniors, then I can come up with those numbers for you. I'm adding them and taking off my shoes to find out how many.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Okay. All set, you're done, right? You're all set? You're all set, right?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discussion by council vote or other action on parking on Main Road at the turf field. Mr. Biragad?
Okay, we discussed this probably over a year ago. I don't think you were with the TA, no. So we discussed this over a year ago, and it's still the same situation. And to the TA's credit, he put the signposts out there, he's warning people not to park there, but that's not a permanent solution. So, CJ, I mentioned the last time that the wooden guardrails, and one of the comments was that they're ugly. But if you take a look at them, if you can open that picture, the first one. If you can open that. Okay, it's really not ugly. I mean, it's actually very aesthetically pleasing, actually. It's very nice. And so go ahead to the next one. Yeah, you see, I mean, there's nothing ugly about them. If people come out of their houses and they have to look at that, there's nothing wrong with that. And they're very effective. They're they withstand a lot of, PSI, I guess, as far as being hit by vehicles. And if you can go to the one with the sign, with the trailer, number 4, I think it is. I mean, it's a lot nicer and a lot more effective than that.
Yes.
And no offense to that you're doing that, but it's not a long-term solution to the situation. And we could ticket all the parents that go there. The problem with ticketing is if we ticket, if they play, sure, all the North Smithfield parents will park where they're supposed to park, but then you're playing Cumberland tonight. And all the Cumberland parents are going to pack. So you're going to whack all the Cumberland parents. And that's fine. You whack all the Cumberland parents. And then the next week they're playing Lincoln. They're playing Lincoln. So now you whack all the Lincoln parents that are parking there. And now you need, I know it's money, but you need the police to be there all the time if you really want to. And it's not going to happen. Then you have different parents. So if you look at that, there's already wooden guardrails at the school. And that's over down by the, at the intersection of Greenville Road and Route 5. So they already have the wooden guardrails, if you notice, and I think that the purpose of that is to stop people from just driving on the grass and cutting the corner for the light. So it would already go with what's there. And the wooden guardrails, if you could, installed $70 a foot. We probably need less than 100 feet.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
I looked into
I had
it.
an engineer.
I asked 2 customers of mine how much they are.
I had an engineer go out and take a look at it, who does a lot of state highway projects, and that's a highway. It depends on how many. I mean, I looked at the area where we've been having pull-off. It's almost 200 yards. That is $120,000.
200 yards?
It's about $200. If you look at it from the aerials, and
Yeah.
you take a look at the whole topography where cars have been parking, it's actually 200 yards. But
Right.
with that being said, though, that will raise a question. Whatever the amount is, who's going to pay for it? And it's a state road. We did go out and measure that. The right-of-way on the field side is 34 feet off the paved surface. So there's a lot of area there where you could put guardrails in. And I wanted the council to understand, I know Councilman Beauregard, he likes to poke me a little bit, but he doesn't mean it mean. You know, as the public safety director in this town, I had an immediate decision I had to make. And I don't want to be the public safety director and have a kid get killed out there. And it was out of control. And since that happened, other than one day, it's kept them off, but that is in no way, shape, or form a permanent solution.
Right.
That's going to have to be pulled out of there. But let me give you an example, though, of how there are very low-cost solutions to problems. Not that long-term, if we could go to the state and see if the state would put guardrails in there as part of their road maintenance program. If you look at when the Pop Warner football team plays at the football field, you know what they do? They put cones up and down the road. They put the cones out on their own. There is never a parking problem. Nobody parks there. There's an indication of somebody using the field, showing the responsibility, understanding what the town wants, and putting their own effort to put the cones up. I would suggest we could talk to the state and see if we can get them into a queuing pattern to put, if the council wants, it's a state issue anyways, to put in the guardrails. But in the meantime, I think we should be communicating to the school department as part of their leasing out of that field that anybody using that field should have to take the same responsibility the Pop Warner football team does, put up cones, including the school department, unless, of course, they have law enforcement there to control a major event. So my main point is there are very low-cost solutions, but we will investigate the possibility of getting the state to come in and put those rails in.
Well, I'm not married to the idea of the guardrails. I was just
No, I know
using
that.
as an example.
Yeah.
You could do it for free if you just asked Ray to bring some boulders up and put them along the road, and then it would be done for free.
Talk about
That
ugly.
would be-
Talk about ugly.
Right.
They'll be
That's
covered
ugly.
airborne.
You know, but
But I agree with you, and in fact, when I was talking to the chief, I was going to be sending him a message about saying we need to start planning on moving that thing out of there as the weather starts turning on us. But I kind of wanted to do it in conjunction with sending messages to the school department as it relates to wild world of sports right now, and anybody else using those fields have got to put cones up because it works. It does work.
I think the reason why the football people, they rent the field.
Right.
And they don't want any problems, right? So they don't want us to turn around and say, hey, look, we're not renting the field here anymore because you got your.
And so does Wild World of Sports. They rent the fields.
But the
And
high
they should
school
be held to
doesn't.
the same
The high school
responsibility.
and-
Huh?
But the high school doesn't.
No, they don't. They don't. But I've seen at times they've had law enforcement that's at their games. And if there's a police car there, that people tend to behave a little bit differently.
But, you know, if Wide World is managing that property now, and whether they're renting or they're allowing the school to use it, it's really the cost of doing business, right? So it's like, they're responsible for that area right now, so whether they have someone on their own payroll patrolling that area, or they have a detail, something, but that's the cost of doing business. I mean, there's no parking, and people are literally parking right in front. They're facing the new parking sign when they get out of their car.
I know.
Right now-
They do have the field under contract until the end of January.
Right.
So
Or
they're responsible.
Now they're driving in, and now they have to back out onto Providence Pike, which is even worse than parking on the road. But if they're gonna put that property out to a management company, then it needs to be part of the contracts that there's either a detail or they have someone on their payroll taking care of that area.
I do think wooden guardrails in that area would be very attractive, personally, as long as they're put close enough to the road, because if you don't,
They're just gonna park.
they're going to parallel, because people don't care. But I will definitely put a call into DOT to talk about that, to see what the possibilities are, to see if we can get that teed up. It won't happen this year, but maybe next year.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was just one
Yeah,
suggestion.
I agree.
But we got the fall season starting up, so there's going to be a lot of football, a lot of soccer.
At night.
At night, right.
Right.
So. Anyway, just wanted to keep it on the radar, that's all.
Is that it, John?
That's it, thank you.
Discussion by council vote or other action on communications from town administrator. Mr. Gibbs, update on grants. The update on the grants?
Yeah, there really isn't much of an update, other than the fact, as I made reference to the comments from Councilwoman DeCristofaro, the reports you're going to be getting in the future are going to have the termination dates, expiration dates for those grants. So you'll see where we stand relative to that. There are several things that are coming up in the not too distant future. Rhode Island Foundation, Champlin Foundation, the Infrastructure Bank. We have next week, we have the Municipal Resiliency Workshop. That actually makes us immediately eligible for Infrastructure Bank money, and they're having a grant program come out. And we are going to very aggressively go back to the state under the Community Development Block Grant Program, which I think this project is perfect for. And I would ask going forward, when we talk about the Hollowell project, let's refer to it as the Hollowell Senior Center, please. Drop the multi-generational, please. Because the minute we talk multi-generational, the state will say the seniors are automatically eligible for federal CDBG funding because of low moderate income requirements. If it's a multi-generational, you have to income qualify all the kids who participate. And they said, bottom line is you're not a LMI community, low moderate income community, and it disqualifies us. So I think we all agree that this project, at least in the early stages, is going to be a senior center. So let's just say senior center.
Okay.
Thank you.
Town Administrator. Another data element I think I'd like to see on your report, your summary.
Make sure we can read it. We're going to have so many columns.
Well, I think I'd like to understand, like, dates, right? I know that you're going to put expiration dates,
Yeah.
but essentially, if we have a grant writer that's pursuing any new grants, when was the date that it was applied for?
Yeah.
Could we see that?
Yeah, we typically do that. If you look at it, it says pending.
Pending, but it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it provides like generalized timelines, but September update.
We will put a submission date on that for you.
Yeah, I like the submission date. And since fully contracting with the grant writer, what net new grants have we applied for?
At this point?
Yes.
None. Other than I speak to her once a week, and she's the one that brought me to my attention the 3 grants I just talked about.
Okay.
So she'll be working with us on those.
Okay.
So how many more grants are out there if we say we have a senior center at Pacheco Park?
We don't have anything currently.
I'm just kidding.
You're poking now. You're poking. What we are going to do, however, is that there is a grant coming up by DEM in November for parks, and we are going to be submitting a grant application to replace the play equipment at Pacheco, and that's a grant we're going to apply for up to $400,000. There is a matching requirement to that, but we have the money in the budget for the matching side. So we are going to be applying for that. We're working right now pro bono with a park planner. She's worked with us before, and she's actually designing the park layout and the equipment and giving us a budget. So we will be applying for that in November.
I was going to ask you that. Would we need a plan? So she's going to do a plan for us?
She is going to do a plan for us and a budget.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. And we also have a grant coming up under Infrastructure Bank under Resiliency. Remember, we are now eligible because we'll have this resiliency workshop. And we're going to see if I'm going to see if we can get some money for the preliminary engineering work for the flooding issues that we have in, help me, Cherrybrook. We originally had applied for a grant out of BRIC and Building Resilient Communities, and then the current administration in Washington canceled that program, so we didn't get that money. So we're going to see if we can, this money's $50,000, but they said they may consider a little larger if it's a good project. And we have really serious flooding issues there, and it might be a good project.
So now this one, and I'm not, it's not a joke, I'm just asking. Scouters Hall, it says grants rejected for the RICDBG. Yeah. So is that just rejected because of what we're going through with the government and stuff, or was
it was rejected because of LMI?
LMI, okay.
Yeah, because we were trying like heck to make an argument that this is really senior services that are being provided there. They weren't buying it. In all due fairness, even though that was, I think there were 2 aspects to it. Number one, that grant was being managed by the previous grant service, and I don't think they were really doing anything, number one. But 2, and I just completely lost my train of thought. It was just given the fact that it's not strictly seniors, that's when they came back and said, you don't qualify because your community's too wealthy. And so we but there's a lot of problems that are happening that whole program is run out of the Rhode Island Housing Group. And to be honest with you, it's just really a broken program. And that also is part of the problem. Very poor communication. They don't get back to you. They're not clear to you. We're going to be on top of that this time, and I think that Lisa has the relationships internally there that she can get us the right audience to be heard this time around.
And I thought one of the caveats to that grant, too, was that it had to be on an existing structure. It couldn't be on a net new structure.
That's what they said. However, I saw no documentation that said that.
Would we consider pursuing it in the future for Scouters if that is an existing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, there's no problem putting in more than one grant application. We put in two. We put one in for Hollowell, and we put one in for Scouters, and they both got kicked out for LMI.
And I'm only saying Scouters because of the caveat that was discussed in the past about, you know, existing structure versus net new. I thought it was for existing structures only. So.
Absolutely, but regardless of that, Scouters is a building that we have to preserve.
Yeah.
And we need to get money to invest in that building.
Yes.
And sorry, maybe you talked on this and I missed it, but everyone was talking before about those Champlain funding.
Yes.
Are those not around anymore that we got all the
No,
funding for before?
They're available in January.
In January,
Yep.
sorry. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any more questions?
Are we going to cover 146? Is that in grants or is that separate?
Yeah, we're going down to that one, yeah. So now update status on Route 146 TIF project.
Real quick, I'm going to be sending the council, if not by Friday, early next week, a draft report on the feasibility side. It will be stamped draft. It is not for public distribution. And I'm going to be sending it to the Economic Development Commission as well. Once I get feedback, then we will finalize that, and that report will be completed. And we have submitted an application to Rhode Island Housing under the Municipal Technical Assistance Program for $100,000. And we have requested funding to take the report to the next stage, which is a market study, one. Two, to start looking at the overall structure of a tax increment financing program, and three, to deal with the land use side, to put together the land use regulatory structure to control land uses up in that corridor before that gets too far ahead of us. So we're hoping to hear back from them pretty soon. So either Friday or early next week we'll get something from me.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions on that? All right, discussion by council vote and other action on update of North Smithfield's role in Woonsocket's Barry Field Elementary School project.
I requested that this item be put on the agenda, so yeah, any information on this would be.
I have no new information and no role, other than the time I reached out to the Woonsocket School Department as it relates to anything they had from DOT. Councilman Punchak saw what they sent to us, which leads me to believe that they're not very advanced with their project, or they didn't give us what they have, really. I'm going to be reaching out to Mayor Beauchamp tomorrow, and I'm going to tell him that the town, because we have the public safety complex across the street, we want to be in the loop on the road improvements in that area, because that's a state road, and the plans I've seen, they put in multiple new lanes. There's going to be no parking lane whatsoever. I've got to assume they're going to either redoing or building new sidewalks in that area, but I have seen no evidence of it yet. So I'll ask Mayor Beauchamp for a lead on that.
Yeah, and I think in addition to, you know, however the traffic patterns change along that road, it's not just our police station, but it's also our residents as well. What does access to the elementary school look like? Like, how may that impede some of the traffic?
They're going to have 2 points of ingress and egress. One is for buses and the other ones are for students. and I believe there's going to be a controlled intersection, at least on one of those. So, but I don't have those plans, so I don't know yet.
Well, and it's my understanding that they're consolidating 3 elementary schools essentially into one, so we're going to see a significant increase in traffic there, so if we can kind
It's going to be a big use on a state road. But we need to be very careful on the traffic control so we don't get hit by it. Not just in terms of, it does impact our public safety complex.
Absolutely.
And they have to be part of that conversation. But if we're going to have kids on that street walking out of there, there better be good sidewalks in that area or you're really putting kids in harm's way.
They have them on the socket side. Yes, they do.
And they're going to be walking on both sides. They're all coming down Summit Street.
In the middle of the street.
You know it took me 45 minutes to get out of my street? 45 minutes. And that's because I was kind of begging at the end. Let me get out of here.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Really.
Okay.
All right, open forum pursuant to 42-46-C, D, maximum 3 minutes per person.
We did not talk about, is material on this agenda?
It's not on this.
It should have been, and technically I can't talk about it if it's not on the agenda without violating open meetings law. I don't think I can still talk about it?
You can amend the agenda at any time to add an item, just can't vote on it.
Okay, I would suggest you amend the agenda to update on material sandstone.
So we have to make that motion and vote on it, right? All right, so I'd like to amend the agenda to include an update on material sand and stone public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
I believe I have to recuse myself.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Okay, we do not have a public hearing on the 15th. And quite frankly, I'm not very happy about it. Our town planner has been communicating with council all the way back to August 13th, telling them about the September 15th date for a public hearing. They are required to do the notice in the paper, and under ordinance, you're supposed to do it 3 successive weeks, and it's not been in the paper yet. I spoke to their attorney this morning and explained to him I was extremely frustrated by this. He apologized. We do have a meeting tomorrow at Material with GZA. I believe GZA has completed all the other review of the video. So I would assume, and Mark reached out to GZA today asking for a date certain on their draft report. And I also asked the town planner to reach out to their attorney and say, I want a date certain as to when this public hearing will happen, and you're not going to advertise it, we'll advertise it. And you're going to reimburse us for those costs, because this thing just keeps going on and on and on. And in all due fairness, though, one of the keys on their side has been Ferrara, who's a water guy, and that's their key person, and he has been out for like 6 weeks. He came home today from vacation. He will be there, but regardless, and I explained this to the attorney for Material. I said, I am extremely frustrated and I'm disappointed, and this is inexcusable, and we're going to solve this problem now, and he apologized. That's all I can say.
So we're looking at, what, the first week in October?
I'm afraid to put any dates out anymore, but yeah, I mean, the report after the meetings tomorrow should be very quick to have. They're going to want to have 2 weeks to review that report. We want to have 2 weeks to review that report, make any final changes. We should start, I want them to commit to the first meeting in October, date certain, for both GZA and Material, and then we will advertise immediately so that we meet the 3-week requirement, so we don't have any problems.
I'm just wondering if we should just put it right to the second week, because the first week we always have the police update. I'm just wondering if we should just,
It's your call.
unless you want to see after tomorrow.
Yeah, let me see after tomorrow. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I hate to change
I
it
just
again.
I want to, the best I can, to keep their feet to the fire, you know, because it's just gone on way too long.
Yeah, it's 6 months, okay.
So I'm just trying to follow the bouncing ball. So does this have anything to do with, is the delay this time around have anything to do with GZA not being able to talk to? No. Okay.
No, GZA's been available. They just haven't been available to meet with GZA because Farrar has not been around.
Right.
So this delay is not because of GZA. This delay is because of material and their team.
Right.
We have been, Mark is in constant contact with GZA. GZA has been given all videos and audios on all public meetings on this issue. The only thing that they don't have is they haven't had the opportunity to tour the site and to meet with materials team. Also keep in mind too that the experts that were making presentations on behalf of material, none of them submitted any written documentation. We don't have reports of any kind. So the only thing that GZA can do is to meet with them, ask questions, and get the data. If they had given us official studies and reports, this could have been taken a little bit different way.
Okay. Only because it seems to have taken on a life of its own, right, from what the original intent of the experts was, and now we're kind of going off on a tangent, because it seems like in the beginning we were just, all right, just review the video and get back to us, and now it seems like it's very much more involved than what we originally intended.
Yeah, material wanted because remember, material's paying for the expert. So material, in addition to the original scope that we had, material wanted a tour of the site by GZA, and they wanted to have their people meet with GZA. That resulted in, I think, a $3,000 increase in the fee of which materials agreed to pay for. They wanted that scope. Theoretically, we could have said we're not going to give you the scope, and it could have said we're not going to pay for it. I'm not saying they would have done that, but that's where the expanded scope was. It was at the request of material.
And I hate to say, because it just so happens at this meeting, it's come up that I was right about Pacheco, and now I got to say, this is exactly why I wanted us to pay for the expert, so we wouldn't have to be at their beck and call and be like, oh, geez, I hope they pay. You know, I don't want to upset them because they're not going to pay. If we paid for the expert, that's what I wanted to do in the beginning. Then it would be we'd be calling the shots.
Yeah, that's fine. The vote of the council was to have GZA pay for that.
I know.
Because they agreed in the meeting to do so. So that's the marching orders the administration takes.
I understand.
Yeah, but it was also GZA needs to speak to their people, so this Ferrara guy has been out for 6 weeks, so that was one of the delays.
Theoretically, I don't know at what point. It's been going on for so long. Could they have connected with them earlier? I don't know.
Plus, we couldn't find experts.
We couldn't find an expert. GZA came in pretty late in the game because we couldn't find anybody who would commit to do the work. Finally, Mark tripped over GZA and said, well, these guys make sense, and they said yes. And that was kind of like, it's probably about 2.5 months ago that happened. So they did, that whole process started later than what we thought it was going to. Yeah. It's not been smooth, put it that way.
Okay. All right, is that it on that? Okay. All right, back to open forum pursuant to 42-46-6D, maximum 3 minutes per person. Did anyone want to speak in open forum? Mr. Grubb? 3 minutes, please.
I wish that was facing.
What's that?
Richard Grubb, Fowler Street. I never know what the time is, but I know I'll be short today. I had a couple of questions, and by the way, Mr. Gibbs, thanks for bringing up the quarry. That's always on my mind. My questions tonight are really about the Water Protection Committee. I learned for the first time that their charter is just to educate the public. I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, or remembering wrong, but I thought the protective zoning overlay was a product of the work from the Water Protection Committee? And if it was, that doesn't sound like just education. So did that come out of zoning, or did that come out of?
Yeah, if I could clarify for you that did not come out of the commission, it came out of the council in zoning. They had nothing to do with that.
It came out of the council.
The council had, in the actual ordinance that was put in did not come out of the ordinance,
Yeah.
groundwater commission. It came out of, it was DJ Ossier was the one that started
Yes,
that.
he was on both, and
But,
I
yeah.
guess that's where I got.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
Administrator, if I may add to that, see, what happened was, and I don't want to take away from your time, so we'll freeze the clock, all right? So what happens is, this committee fulfilled its role. So the committee would have been done, okay? So the committee fulfilled its role, and instead of disbanding the committee, because they fulfilled their role with that ordinance, they redirected it and gave it a new mission.
And who's they?
The people on the
The
committee.
people on the committee get themselves a mission.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, well, I think it was Ogier was involved, Doug Ogier was involved with that, that they gave the committee a new mission.
The town council would have given the committee a new mission.
Okay.
Well, we approved it.
Right.
Yeah, it was through Doug's
Yeah.
creation of the
Correct.
resolution.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't want to speak for the people who resigned, but I do think there was some concern, as it was expressed in the media, that they weren't listened to, but the concern was really, is our water being protected? Things have been decided that seem to be in conflict with that, like the company that increased their warehouse space right over an aquifer, and accepting something along 146A, which was again over an aquifer. And of course, the big thing that's staring everybody in the face is the proposed zoning overlay change, which again would be affecting an aquifer. So that's why they're concerned, at least from what I've talked to them. I'm not quoting them because I haven't been given that permission, but that's the impression I got, and I wanted you to know it.
Thank you.
Well, if I could just add, again, I'm sorry, the MST, well, the town did reject that. The town shot that down, and it was the courts that overrode the town and allowed them to expand.
Anyone else like to speak during open forum? Did you raise your hand? No? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Anyone else? All right. So with that, then, take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.